Thank you for the warm welcome. Am I audible and clear? Can
Yes,
anyone confirm?
Yes, Bhavani, you are audible.
Alright, yeah, thank you. So there is some issue with my camera. It's over raining here, so I shall turn it off for some time. Okay, I'll get into the presentation. Okay, is the screen visible? Can someone?
yes.
Yeah, Bhavani, it's visible.
Thank you, Gautika. So again, good evening, everyone. A little introduction about myself. I am been working as a full stack developer for past 3.8 years. So my major work is like handling data. So I think I could handle this topic, basics of data management, today's session, and I hope you all guys learn many things from this session. Okay. So an introduction to effective data handling. Okay, in case of any queries, please hold. We can discuss it in the last. So first of all, what is data management? If somebody like to volunteer in between session, I'll be more happier than that. Okay, I'd be more happier if somebody would like to volunteer. If I ask some question, right? So what is data management? Can somebody tell me what is data?
Collection of information.
Information.
Exactly. So thank you for the answering. Thank you for
Data
answering.
is information.
Yeah, data is collection of information. Why do we need to manage that? So we like industrial 4.0, industrial revolution 4.0, which is all the cutting edge technologies right now we are facing. Like it could be AI or blockchain, or IoT, whatever it is. Today we are in the boom of industry 4.0, right? So the main thing that for all the uh, technologies, we need data as a major backup, right? Okay, so what is data management in the sense? It is a practice of collecting, organizing, protecting, and storing and in organization data, or it could be any data. It doesn't have to be organization data, it could be any data. So it can be analyzed or for business decisions. Okay. So what is collecting, organizing, protecting, and storing? So anybody can collect data, right? So we can collect it through forms, we can collect it through voice, we can collect it in any way. But there is proper way for collecting a data, and there is something important about organizing a data. Organizing means a data has to be represented in a particular way. It could be in Excel form, it could be in CSV, it could be like JSON data or raw data, whatever it is, depends upon the application that we use. Why do we need to protect that? So protection is also important. We are giving our details to someone else. For example, it could be my age, it could be my UPI, my bank details, it could be anything. Very sensitive information we provide to someone else or some third party applications. So in if we are providing some application for some application or data, we need the assurance that they have had to protect our data. They should.
Hello, Bhavani. Hello. Bhavani, your mic is on mute. Bhavani, wait for a second. I'll check. Hello, Arulmoli ma'am, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please look into the problem?
Okay, ma'am.
I think I think Bhavan, you can talk.
Yeah, since when I have been muted, may I know so that I could catch
No,
up
no,
on
no,
that.
no. I mean, past 1 minute, I think.
All right, okay.
Not much
I'll
time. Yeah,
I'll start with data management then.
yeah, sure.
Okay, I have asked what is data, and you guys replied data is a collection of information, which is correct. And data management, we need to manage our data. Uh, Data management is very important because in industry 4.0, everything what we handle is based upon data. So, and it data management defines as it is a practice of collecting, organizing, protecting, and storing and data. Storing not an organization data or anything. It is any data. So it can be analyzed for business decisions. Basically, it is for business decision. Whatever data we store, it is for business decisions. It encompasses various disciplines and practices that help organization handle data effectively throughout its life cycle. So don't worry about the second line of the slide. I'll explain it while going through the session. Okay, so right now data is information and we need to manage data. So data management is a practice of collecting, organizing, protecting, and storing data, right? So it is 4 steps. We have to collect, then you need to organize it in some format, and we need to protect, and we need to then only we have to store it. Right. So next slide is importance of data management. Why do you think data management is important? Can someone like to volunteer to answer this? What will happen if you don't manage your data? Let's consider you have gallery full of photos, like 3,000 photos. If you don't organize it in a particular way, if you don't know where you have placed your photo, what will happen?
Traceability could be difficult.
All right, yeah, that's a very good answer. Yeah, we can't get it on time. We have to spend a lot of time to get the data. And any other thing that you can think of?
We'll not be able to make let us say summary of a data or some insights.
Yeah, we couldn't summarize it if you don't organize it. Like it could be like alphabetical wise, or it could be number wise, or we couldn't if we didn't sort the data, we couldn't like summarize it as you said. Okay, other than that, so we need data management. The importance of data management is, first of all, the quality of the data is depends upon the way we store it and the way we retrieve it. What do I mean by quality and accessibility? So quality means, for example, let's consider you have like thousands of answer sheets. Means in the thousands of answer sheets, all the numbers are mock numbers. If you don't organize it in serial number wise, it would be difficult to enter the mocks again in the system. Am I correct or not? You have like 1,000 people in a college. If you don't organize their papers according to their serial number, you will not be easy. You can be easily re-enter the mocks again in your portal. So it would be a difficult task. So that's what I mean by quality and accessibility. The quality also means consider I have a set of data for logistic regression or linear regression technique in machine learning. In case if you don't get me, uh, consider you have a jigsaw puzzle. So the jigsaw puzzle can only be identified uh, if you like put it in a perfect manner. If you don't put it in a perfect manner, you won't know what is missing in the jigsaw puzzle or what do you need to fill the data. The same way, that's what I mean by quality and accessibility. Accessibility means whenever you need, you have to access it. If you can't access it at the particular time, then why do we need data management? So if you can't access it at a particular time, there is no need for data itself. Correct. So it enhances decision making. How data management enhances decision making? Because let's take a financial institution. The financial institution can use accurate data to assess risks and make informed lending decisions. Okay, what do I mean by financial institution? Consider share markets. So in share market, they give you data in a particular way. For example, if you use any share market sites, if you can't search your share in that portfolio, or if you can't search anything particularly related to your share in your portfolio, so in that case, what will happen? So particular day, particular share price can come down. At the time you would like to buy, but you can't search it and get it at the proper time. So if that happens, there could be a huge financial uh, loss. Not only financial loss, if you can't do anything at a right time, there could be like severe repercussions if you can't properly manage your data. And ensures data security and compliance. Only if you organize your data in a particular way, then only you will know which has to be protected, which does not need much protection. Consider in your phone, you have multiple photos and multiple documents, everything. Okay, so you have stored sensitive informations like your bank records, or it could be your mark sheets, consolidated mark sheet, or anything. These are all considered as, or driving license or pan card. These are all considered as sensitive information. So you should not put it in the normal gallery or something. It should be protected in a vault, separate than other than the gallery. It has to be separated also. If you don't protect it, anybody can access your other data, anybody can access your pan data. So which will cause financial loss, or they will lose your privacy, or it could even lose your time unnecessarily for getting to know who got the data and how did you lose all the information, everything. Okay, so importance of data management also comes with facilitates data integration and interoperability. So what do I mean by data integration and interoperability? Consider I have an application which has front end. Okay, every application has front end, back end, and I have database. So in that application, I have integrated like 4 other different government data. Consider central government website. In central government website, they have to get data from Tamil Nadu government, as well as Andhra government, as well as Jammu and Kashmir government. So all the states, 26 states and union territories data has to be integrated in the central government site. In that case, what they will do? So they will organize all different databases in a particular way, and they will integrate everything together, so which ensures interoperability. So from the central government side, I can use Tamil Nadu, I can get Tamil Nadu schemes as well as Jammu and Kashmir schemes as well as Arunachal Pradesh schemes. So I don't have to worry about what will happen. I don't have to go everywhere and search everything. So I have given like a simple example how data integration and interoperability works. To explain it in very technical way, I'll give you another example. Okay, so day to day we use applications like Facebook, Twitter, social media. All social media we use. So do you think like the Facebook can send you OTP through your number? The Facebook can send you email to your email address, or it could also be it could also send some information to your another secondary number or devices. The Gmail, let's take Gmail. It will track all the devices that you have logged in. So do you think all the information are from the same database? Can somebody answer that? Hello. All right. Okay. No problem. I'll tell you how it works. So, in Facebook, they have right now. I guess Facebook integrated everything like WhatsApp, everything together. So they'll have different APIs. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp will have different APIs. These different APIs will hit different databases. Okay, all of them are not in a single database. It will be like huge collection of data, and we can't fetch it very easily. So all the databases like WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, everything is different database. Inside Facebook, they'll have mini databases. So all the data has been we can access through API call. So from my system to other system, I have an endpoint. From that endpoint, I need to hit the endpoint through JSON with the JSON request, or it could be any other response. It could be raw data with any other raw data. It could be CSV format, any format. Doesn't matter. So if I from my system to different system, if I hit any database through my API, if I have proper access, I can get back the data. So if I have managed my data properly, then only I can ensure I can get my data whenever I need at the appropriate time, not whenever I don't want. So I need my data whenever I need. So data management, the important part of data management is, as I said, quality and accessibility. So whenever I want to access, it should be accessible. It shouldn't be a chaos. The data should be in chaos. It should be in proper way. It enhances decision making. So if you get the data at the proper time, it will influence your decisions automatically. If you don't get the data, you'll give up sometimes for many information. It mainly includes the financial task. So all the financial tasks are based upon decision, based upon the correct time we get the data. It could be stocks, mutual funds, or any financial applications you take. So the decision making is influenced by the time you get the data. Alright. And data security and compliance. So compliance means you have to ensure, okay, compliance. For example, in any site, if you'll tick terms and conditions, right? So that's compliance. So if you tick that, then only they have to store your data. For example, in PhonePe or any other payment application, you can save your code. It could be Amazon Pay. It can save your code. Okay, so to save that code, you need to give certain permissions, and there are RBI guidelines. For India, it is RBI guidelines. For EU, it could be different. These complaints and all, the data protector has to meet. Then only they can save our data. So for data management, it ensures data security and compliance as well. So they will protect our data and they'll ensure that it will not be disclosed to anyone else. That's what they mean by data security and compliance, and increases efficiency and productivity. Consider you have notes. It could be like various subjects notes. So if you don't align it properly, you can't get it and read it efficiently. If you have aligned it properly, you can easily get it and revise it very efficiently. So it applies for data as well. It facilitates data integration and interoperability. I'll go to the next slide. Key components of data management. Here I have mentioned 8 components for data management. First is data governance, data architecture, data storage, security, integration, quality, operations, analytics. Okay, what is data governance? Can somebody like to answer what is governance?
Yeah, it's about policy that is in place.
All right. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Yes, exactly. So governance is something about policies and procedures. So how to store your data? There is certain way to store data. Okay. You are consider you have in your college, there is principal, there's a principal, and there will be several HODs, and there will be few faculties for each departments. So this is a structure, proper structure of how a college works, right? Like that, there are certain policies and procedures to store data. This is called data governance. Every company, not all the big companies, will have governance committee that checks or oversees data policies and compliance. Consider, okay, you have different kind of data. You have image as a data, video is a kind of data, video is kind of data. It could be forms. Forms is different kind of data. Inside forms, you can have CSV or Excel or anything. Both are different. I can store XML data. I can store JSON data. So data is many types. Data are many types. So if you want to store a govern, if you want to store the data properly, and you should have some policies and procedures how to store the data. Every company, every organization has a method and way to do this. So it will be taken care by the governance team. Governance is they will manage how to store the data and how can we like alter data. Even not altering won't come into governance, but the policy and procedures for what kind of data has to be stored. Uh, for financial site, they don't need our weight and height details. Correct. For a medical site, they don't need our PAN card details. Am I correct? So if you go to a financial site, for phone pay, they don't need our BMI details. If you use Practo, they don't want to know what are your skill sets. Are you good at computer management? Are you good at Python or Java? So these kind of details, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So what kind of details should we get from an individual? That is based on governance committee, which is called data governance, data architecture. So architecture means a framework. Okay. So if a building is constructed in a particular way, it depends upon the architect. So we say architect has constructed the building. Likewise, if a data management, if a data has to be managed in a proper way, we need data architecture as well. What do you mean by architecture? What do they do? So they'll recommend for example, they'll recommend what kind of databases we can use. If it is relational database, we can go for PostgreSQL or MongoDB or MySQL. What should we use? It should be in cloud or it should be in physical infrastructure. Do we do we get our own system and store the data, or can we outsource it to someone else? Okay, so these are what this is what I mean by architecture. How do we store or not storing? How do in what framework are we going to store our data? It's not about storing the data. In what framework are you going to store our data? Consider you developed an application. So in that application, you collect different type of data. You collect images, you collect video, you collect voice messages, you collect textual messages, everything. So where do we store all the data? On what basis will you store all the data? What kind of coherence? So consider you use some social media. You will send images. So do you think all this chat will be stored in a particular database? No. So you'll have this foreign, I am sure you'll be aware of the primary key, foreign key concept. So you'll be having an ID. So that ID will be foreign key for so many data bases, and that particular database will store the information based upon the information that you provide. Okay. So this is what an architecture do. What framework are we going to store the data and data storage? So okay, so in architecture, I told you the framework. In data storage, we can decide. Okay, I already told you cloud-based data. Okay, an architecture decides. Framework means how we going to deploy the data and store it and fetch it. But storage means consider Amazon also have the storage. Microsoft also have the storage. Google also all the storage. Or Google also have their own storage called CDN. CDN is the major service we use, which is content delivery network. Inside CDN, we'll have several services like DNS. You have your domain name server. I'm sure you'll be aware of domain name server. It has to be stored somewhere, right? So can I go for Amazon, or can I go for Google, or can I go for Microsoft Azure? So which is another thing we need to choose. Okay, if you are sure with your framework, you should know for example, if you are going to write something, you need to first decide whether it would be pen or pencil, or it could be sketch. Then if you choose pen, you should know whether it could be flower or Parker pen or it could be Hero pen. Like that, we should decide what company are we going to collaborate to store our data. So that's what storage. And data security. Data security is to prevent breaches or any unauthorized access. Okay. Some data security we use in our system day-to-day life. Can somebody would like to point out what are all the data security features that you have in your system?
Passports, face recognition, ma'am.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, data security. We have passwords. You could have face recognition or thumb impressions or anything. So apart from that, when we go for even more depth concept, we could have firewalls for certain system. The firewall could block certain sites. That is first layer of protection. Then we could have our antivirus. This is also another kind of data security. Apart from that, we could have VPN, virtual private network. So virtual private network mostly used by organization to prevent their employee from exploiting the company resource or misusing company resource. So if you go for any MNC or any corporate, you will be provided with a VPN access. From that VPN access only, you will be able to hit their database, company database. Without that, I couldn't do that. So virtual private network is another kind of data security. And inside that, if you consider code, you have to secure your data again, because from your code, from your backend code, you'll have properties file. From the properties file, you will hit your database. So that database will have a password and username, which has to be sent from developer side. So how are we going to protect that? So we need to use encryption algorithm. So while we sending our data, apart from that, inside database you will store data. So how are you going to protect your customers' data? So we need to show that to our customer. So we are doing encryptions and we are storing your data. You don't have to worry about your data. We'll give you assurance. So such thing are important when you store your data. Right. So next thing is data integration. Okay. So integration, as I said already, is combining different resources and making it as one thing. So what do you mean by that? Combining different resources means, already I told you, government sites, like different states come together and they'll provide the data to central government, and we'll see that in central government website. As well as I have mentioned another example like Facebook, they'll have another applications. So inside that, to give you text message, they'll hit through Twilio API, or to give you email, they'll use SMTP protocol. So, it doesn't matter what APIs they use, they'll hit through API. But what do I mean by data integration means, whenever you take your chat, irrespective of it is going to be a text message or voice message or video or whatever it is, in whatever format it is, it will all come together in a coherent format that you had sent already. It won't be in a separate format. You can click the media. Inside the media, you'll have all the photos. You can click documents, it will have all the documents. So, but when you go to your main chat, it will be in the coherent order. So that's a simple example for data integration. So when you go like higher perspective, uh, every application will have different databases. Like they can use Docker to store the data. They can use their own database. They have outsourced the data as well. Or they are getting information from some other APIs like Marketo API. Consider I'm an organization. Okay. My organization has posted something in LinkedIn. I'm hiring few people. So please provide me the data of people who are looking for this particular job. In that case, I should have to collaborate with LinkedIn. I should have to collaborate with Naukri. But in total, they'll see all the profiles only, not from LinkedIn these people, from Naukri these people, from Indeed these people. No, they won't see like that. They'll integrate several databases through API calls. In between, they can use Marketo API. There are few intermediaries. Instead of hitting their database directly, they can use the intermediate and get the data and integrate them and use it. Okay, Zoho CRM is a very good example to what is data integration. And data quality. So consider you are developing a machine learning model. Okay, for that machine learning model, you have provided provided an Excel with almost 1 lakh data to 5 lakh data. All the data is not sorted. Okay, all the data have clumsy information. Okay, so what will you do in that case? In that case, we have to pre-process the data, clean the data, and you have to think statistically. For example, if I give you 1 lakh data, consider from 700 row to like 5,000 row. From 800 row to 5,000 row, the data are missing. So what will you do in this sense? In that case, we need to find the average. How in previous row they have calculated the data, that you need to figure out, and you need to put some statistical algorithms to fill out these data. Then only the data will be complete. So the data quality is very important when you manage your data. You could not throw it away like this. Simplest example will be like in your gallery, if all the photos are not organized, you couldn't fetch it in proper time. If you are looking for some important details, you couldn't fetch it important time. If it is organized if it is organized by a particular folder based upon the information, then it will be easier. Data operations. So data operations in the sense, what am I going to do with that data? Am I going to add some information or modify some information or delete some information? These three operations I can do for any data. So everyday attendance is logged through biometric, right? So it is adding information every day. So in my database, every information will be added every day, or modifying something. So what is the number of hours I have studied? If I am logging that, I'm going to modify that information every time. Delete some information. Once the task is completed, we don't have the particular data. If, for example, if somebody is setting their account, then the particular company doesn't have to store the data for after some time. So they have to delete the data. So these things will be happening again and again if you have data. Then data analytics. So analytics means from our data, they'll analyze few things. Based upon the analysis, we will get advertisement every day. Okay. Consider you are using your Android phone, or I am not very sure about iPhone. Consider you're using an Android phone. Okay. So in that Android phone, Google Assistant is on all the time. You speak something about related to you want to buy a computer or you want to buy a laptop. The very next day, in your in any application, if you go with which allows advertisement, will definitely pop up computer or laptop. I'm not saying they are stealing our data, but somehow based upon our searches, based upon our the data we provide, based upon the information we give, like this is my age, this is my region, I'm from India, Tamil Nadu, South Zone. If that is the if we give all the information, we are using many free sites. So these sites will have our data. Data is money. Data or money, actually. Data or money. If they have our data, they'll like every and then if you go to YouTube, you'll be popped up with computer or laptop. Based upon the search, you'll get the advertisement, like targeted advertisements. So for that, we mainly use data analytics. This is one con side, but when we go for pro side, we can analyze some other information also. So these days, people analyze how long teens are engaged in their phone. So how many elders are getting particular disease at this age? So how many how many old people are getting blood pressure at what age? So these kind of analytics also they can do. So analytics If you have data, it could be any data. It could be like life science related data or marketing related data, or it could be retail information. Whatever the information, you can definitely do analytics based on the data. If you have data, you can do analytics. So these are the all the key components of the data management. Okay, and data management life cycle. So if you have to manage your data, there is a life cycle. This has to be gathered in a very strict way. You can't do it in improper way, right? Without collecting data, you can't use it, right? So the life cycle goes like this. First is collection, then storage, maintenance, usage, archiving, disposal. What do you mean by collection? We all know. First, you are getting data from your customer, or you are giving your data to some owner. This is what happens. Then we have to store the data for particular. Okay, again, for storing the data, we can go for any databases or cloud storage solutions, or we can use any other different way. Like for whatever, how do you collect your storage based upon how you collect the data? So if you collect data in person through forms, files, then you have to store the forms through the files. If it is online data, you can use database or relational database. If it is going to be like very relational information, like name, age, and your roll number. If it's going to be information like that, you can use RDBMS. Or if it is going to be like different data based upon your like search engine, consider your search engine. It will store all your history. It can't be stayed in. It can't be stored in RDBMS way. So we have to go for big data for that concepts. Again, data maintenance. So how do you maintain your data? So maintenance means like I'm giving my data to someone else. Okay, I have signed up in Gmail. In Gmail, I have provided my information. My date of birth is so and so. But the very next day, it says my very different date of birth. So how will you react for that? You will be very disappointed. So when you collect the data, it has to be maintained properly, which means you have to be very accurate about the data, and there should be some relevance. Okay. Relevance in the sense I meant that targeted audience advertisement. So these are all main things we have to worry about when you collect the data. So I have done something, I have completed a transaction. My money has like debited from my account. The database says you have not paid it, then you'll be disappointed with the service. So accuracy is very important when you go for data maintenance and data usage. Exactly. So once you do all the three steps properly, the next thing you wanna do is you will ensure who are all going to use your data, how the data is going to be processed, whether it is going to be with that organization or it will be disposed to someone else also. It will be like every time they will give you data for someone else also. So these is what I mean by data usage. Who are all going to use it? It's you only or somebody else. They can go for targeted campaign. If what do you mean by the targeted campaign? For girl children, we are providing free education. This is targeted campaign because higher secondary enrollment rate is very low. Correct in India. So in that case, the government can go for targeted campaign. So we'll provide money for girl children to pursue their higher education. So please make them enroll to pursue their education. So the government can use the data if you give your permission. Correct. Even you will give data to government as well. Aadhaar, PAN card, driving license. So many government websites they have our data. So how will not only government will give our data to banks, various banks, and are they very protective of our data? And if you give our data to banks, will they give how are they going to use our data? That is also another thing. Consider you gave your bank certain details. Consider I have certain amount in my bank. So if bank exploit the data, then it wouldn't be nice for me to know that information, or it wouldn't be nice. The bank shouldn't exploit the data. So the data usage is another main thing, along with the data security and data archiving. What do you mean by archiving? So if you don't want the data, the first option, you don't have to delete that. You can just archive it. What do you mean by archiving? Okay, so you are deleting a particular account. It could be Gmail account or it could be any social media account. They won't straight away delete your information. What in case if you need it again? If you change your mind, what in case if you use the data again? So first, the data will go to archive mode, which will be maintained a different database. So the archiving data will be not different database, means not with the same number of users who are all active, but the archive data will be something different and it will be stored in a different way, because after some time it will be disposed. This is the next phase thing we are going to do. So once it is archived, two things can happen. I can reuse the data or I can delete the data. If we are very sure about we are not going to reuse the data, then you will delete that. Correct? So yeah, here another example is healthcare provider follows the data management lifecycle to manage patient record from collection to secure disposal. It's a perfect example. If somebody admits into some hospital for medical issue, like it could be any treatment. So once the treatment is done, there will be some follow up based upon the treatment they took. So after the follow up, they don't need the data for after some years. Okay, after the follow up, the data will be put. They put the data in archive mode. So once after the patient is completely all right, they don't need the data anymore. Correct. The medical history would be there, but other in between information wouldn't. We don't need that. So the data will be disposed automatically. And best practices for data management: establish clear data governance. So before, as I mentioned before, data governance would be done by governance committee. If there is no such committee, we can do the operations that would be done by data governance committee. What are all the policies and procedures? Which means what are the data are we going to get? And so, or we should not breach any security. We should not be like very discriminate. We should not get discriminating information. So if somebody gets our region information, they could discriminate us based upon information, correct? You can't give I'm from South India, I'm from North India. So the job hiring people could discriminate, or they could use it for who is nearby. So they could provide the job based upon the information. So make sure there should not be any discrimination for the data, and implement robust data security measures. So what do you mean by robust data security measures? So every data will be stored in data center. So in the data center, first there will be physical security, which means the guards, security guards will be there. After that, we'll have this. If somebody is going to do access the data, they would be like permitted only if they pass the physical security again. Like it could be thumb impression, or it could be iris, or it could be facial recognition, or it could be based on password. So these are different kind of physical security. Once the physical security is passed, we need to go for digital security. What is digital security? Entering password before going into the database, using the proper VPN, using the proper firewall, ensure the antivirus is on. And if all this is done, we'll go to the data. So inside the data, we couldn't access all the data, like passwords. You could not see passwords of other people. Correct. So inside the data, make sure if it is encrypted. So these are all the various data security measures. And regularly backup data. I'm sure in many sites they'll have regular backup data facility. Even if you use OneDrive in your system or considered Google Drive in your system, it will ask very frequently to back up all the data that you have or that you have stored in your local storage, because local storage could be attacked or it could be destroyed by anything. There is a very volatile life cycle for local storage rather than cloud storage. So if we have to protect our data, so we can move it to cloud using regular backup. You don't have to move it to cloud as well. Whatever the information it is, you should know whether it is stored in your local system. Ensure data quality and accuracy. So, like I mentioned before, quality and accuracy is very important for data. So, whatever data we store, we need it back in the same way. There should not be any discrepancies. There should not be any like changes in our data. Nobody likes that, right? Okay, use data management tools and software. There are several data management tools and software. Like I can use Hadoop, or I can use AWS. I can use, if I don't, Docker. These are all several data management tools and software, and they'll be provided the particular software. If I use Hadoop, I can use the particular software that I can use to access Hadoop. And if I want to use AWS, I'll have my own software. I don't need nothing much. I'll have my terminal. So from my terminal, I can hit the AWS. Which applies for Azure as well as wherever you store your data. So you'll have proper information about how are we going to access the data. It will be given by the provider itself. Okay, and train staff on data management policies. Consider you are a corporate, you are going to start a firm, and you'll need several staff on to maintain the data itself. So they'll ensure the data is not attacked by anything. They'll protect the data every fortnight once, or every weekly once, or every monthly. They'll check all the data and ensure sanity check for the data. Everything they'll do, and monitor and audit data regularly. Once you get the data, so audit is mandatory for every organization, or even it could be a small organization. For colleges, you'll have regular audits on what you do, what are the lessons you have completed, and whether it is going as per the plan. So, like that, for data audit also happens every annually or biannually. It depends upon the firm and their policies. Okay, and go to next slide. Tools and technologies. Yes, data management systems. If I want to use RDMs, relational data, just straight RDMs, straightforward data. I could have one-to-one relationship, one-to-many, or many-to-one relationship. So are all permitted relationship for RDBMS. So if it is going to be RDBMS data or any data, it doesn't have to be RDBMS alone. But if for the data management system, we have MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle. These are all the databases I could go for. Data warehousing solutions. What do mean by what is data warehouse? So data management is just managing the data. Data warehouse means they'll accumulate all the data, like it's a warehouse, and all the data will be stored in a particular environment. So that data warehouse solutions will go for Amazon Redshift, Google BigQuery, Snowflake. These are very famous data warehouse solutions. Data integration tools. Apache Nifi, Talent, Informatica. I'm sure Informatica, if you are final year or if you got a job somewhere, if some students are in that phase, they'll be knowing what is, or if you're from IT background, you'll be knowing what is Informatica. So this is very promising integration tool. Okay, and data analytics platforms, Tableau, Power BI, SAS. So SAS is mainly for medical information. SAS they won't use anywhere else. But Power BI and Tableau, medical information. What do you mean by medical information? You'll know corona vaccine or Covaxin for Serum Institute of Technology, or it could be Horlicks Boost company provide like GSK, GlaxoSmithKline. So they provide Horlicks Boost and all the vaccines. There are major firms. So FDA only approves, Food and Drug Administration only approves, by USA only approves SAS as the recognized data analytic platform for medical information. So life science, if you go for life science information, you can only use SAS. For other sectors, other domains like marketing or retail or banking, you can use Tableau or Power BI to see the trends or analytics. Okay, and data security solutions. We have Semantic, McAfee, Palo Alto, Palo Alto. These are all like industry level standards. So if you want to use your aware antivirus, so there are many antivirus that you are aware of, right? And for industry standard level, I have mentioned all the data management software here. Okay, and cloud storage solutions. Yes, AWS S3 is there. Google Cloud Storage, Microsoft Azure Blob Storage. So we say blob data. If some information is stored in binary format, we say it blob. So that blob storage will be can use Microsoft Azure Blob. Okay, so these are all famous data management tools that we have. And in conclusion, or effective data management is crucial for organizations to leverage the data for strategic decision making, ensuring security, compliance, and gaining a competitive advantage. By following these practices and utilizing the right tools, organization can manage the data more effectively. Yeah. Thank you for your attention. And now you can go for query sessions. If you have any queries, you can ask. Was the session clear? Do you have any queries? Was it useful? Uh,
Perfect, man.
all right, thank you. Mani Kumar Menu, what do you mean by can you share data? Yeah, you want me to repost the tools and technology slides again? Right.
Ma'am, can you please share that tools slide?
Yeah, I'm sharing it. Just a second. I don't think I can share image here. Can I share my image? All right. Okay, I'll copy that and send it. Okay, so I'll share my PPT to Karthika, and she might forward it to your study. He'll forward it to you all, guys. I guess. Please explain data quality and tools. So, what do you mean by data quality? For data quality, we don't have any tools. Data quality is depends upon the developer how they handle the data. Consider I have, as I said earlier, so data quality is very important for if you train a machine learning model or AI model or NLP, like natural language processing. So other than that, the data quality might be like if it is in ascending order, descending order, or region wise, or age wise. Whether they have stored the information properly. These are all data quality. But if you go for the cutting edge technology, the data quality is something different. The norms itself something different. You could not have empty data. If you train your AI model with empty data, it will give you empty results. Obviously, it won't give. It will give you even bizarre results. You can't expect it to give you a perfect replay. So in that sense, data quality is there are several steps like pre-process your data. What do you mean by pre-processing? First, open if you are going to give Excel data, open it through Excel, and if it is a used data, you can do that. So what you can do is use appropriate language. You can use Python, and inside Python you can have pandas. Pandas is separate library for data pre-processing, cleaning, and utilizing the data accurately the way you want. So if we go to pandas library, the data quality will be even more higher. So there are no specific tools, but you can use libraries like pandas to ensure the data quality. Did I answer the question? Okay, wider applications of data warehouses. Okay. Data warehouse. So I have mentioned Amazon Redshift, Google BigQuery, and Snowflake. Okay. So these three tools I have mentioned, what do they do? Have you heard of let's go with simple example. Market. In market, if you go, rather than going for a simple grocery shop, if you go to market, you will get all the vegetables or fruits or anything you want, right? The same applies here as well. You go to data warehouse, you don't have to worry about what kind of data you are storing. You can provide any data, they will be able to handle that. So data warehouse is a huge, uh, it's again a huge form of data, but they'll provide you all access. Like you can save your DNS, domain name server. You can you can save your text. You can save like audio messages, video message, everything. So you don't have to worry about what kind of message I have to store here and how can I process it. So it's a one-step solution for storing the data. Data disposal is same as data delete. I won't say data disposal is same as data delete. Because disposal is a very what dash very ambiguous analogy. Disposal is okay. So data disposal is different from company to company and firm to firm. So everybody has their own way to dispose the data. Delete is pretty straightforward. Just delete the data. So sometimes the data disposal involves giving back our data to us also. So I don't want to mix disposal analogy with delete. It is a common framework. Disposal is common, but it is more or less same as delete only. Any other questions, or can we? Non-relational databases. Okay, non-relational database involves technologies like big data. Hadoop. You have heard of like big tool, right? Big tool or language. These are all mainly used for non-relational databases. So apart from that, what can we do with non-relational databases is they the data from non-relational databases. For example, it's not about like rows and columns. For non-relational database, they get the data mainly for analytics. They'll get all your data. It's considered big data. Okay. So you'll have all the blob information. It could be blob information. Blob information can sometimes be stored through RDBMS itself. Blob, what do you mean by blob? Means it's a binary information. If you are storing your image, you won't store it as an actual image. It will be parsed and converted into several other formats. Correct. So these are all considered non-relational database. So they mainly use it for analytics perspective, for marketing, and to be frank. Elaborate data integration. So data integration, okay. What do you mean by integration? And because okay, already data governance also. Okay, I have already explained with a very simple example for data integration. And to elaborate it from the firm wise, I'll tell you something. Okay, consider you are making a transaction from one bank to another bank. Okay, so you are customer of a bank A, and there are two possibilities. You don't have to there are two or three possibilities. In fact, first you can do net, online transaction, right? This is one possibility, and you can do UPI transaction. This is another possibility, and third possibility is you can transfer money from your account to another account, not through UPI, but through NIFT or RTGS transaction. You can say it NIFT or RTGS transaction. So for all this transaction, not a single database will be maintained. If you are transferring money from your account to another account, consider both of you are same bank, then the database is different. If you are sending your money from account A, from bank A to account A from bank B, then the database will be different. So the bank has to maintain all these data. For that, they can use data integration tools. They won't merge everything. Okay, so for that they can use data integration tools to maintain what are all the transactions you made. For data integration, they can have many information. What are the transactions you made through UPI? What are the transactions you made, like the withdrawal of money is a different transaction, or UPI transaction is a different transaction. So these are all not maintained in the same database. All these are integrated through some integration tool. Everything will be separate information. Explain the data usage. Why do we what do you mean by data usage? Because it depends upon the application again. So where do we use our data? Blockchain. We say blockchain. Blockchain technology. In blockchain technology, from one system to another system, it will maintain all the previous information. So this is different. It's like distributed system. So for distributed system, the data usage will be different. For master slave methodology, the data usage will be different. And based upon your application, also the data usage will be different. Depends upon the product and the customer, the data usage. Data maintenance every fortnight. You have to not every fortnight. It could be weekly or bi-weekly or monthly. Depends upon the firm. Based upon that, they'll ensure all the data are there, and they'll make sure if it is in proper order. That's called data maintenance. Data disposal is just delete it and dump it. That's it. Data disposal. We don't have to worry much about data disposal. Mostly they don't dispose data. Facility data integration and facility data means you have to get the data at the proper time to facilitate something. We have to make sure in an easy way we'll get the data back, not in a hard way. If I have entered some information, if I give my date of birth, the age has to be populated automatically. So if I had given my information already, if I give my account number, my name, my SIF, or my balance, these are information should be populated automatically. This is data facilitating. You are making things better, easier. That's called facilitating. And integrating, as I have explained already several times, interoperability. So from one database to another database, from one company to another company, I am like switching back now and then. It's called interoperability. So I'm just making sure that I can operate like several things from a single endpoint. This is called interoperability. Data governance. Data governance is again you have to make sure certain policies and principles to store the data. Okay, so that's called, and it will be decided by the firm or the company that get the data based upon the RBI guidelines or government guidelines. There are several few factors involved in that. And data operations we can do add, delete, modify. These are the three major operations we can do with the data. Welcome. So anything else? Any other questions? If not, yeah, thank you. Can we wind up the session? Karthika, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. You can write up the class, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for a wonderful section, ma'am.
Yeah, all right, thank you. Data management life cycle, give example. So you're starting an account, you're giving the data, and you're using the account, the data is stored. So you have decided you don't want to use the account. So if you delete the account, the data will be archived and the data will be deleted. If you get the health center example, like somebody else is admitted to the hospital, the treatment is going on, the data will be maintained. First, they will collect the data about the patient, then the data will be maintained, and make sure all the additions or subtractions, not additions or subtractions, they'll make sure the treatment progress in the data. And once the treatment is done, they'll have the follow-up, like data maintenance. After that, if the patient is good, then data archive. So after that, after some time, they'll remove the data or dispose. That's it. Data architecture will be decided by, I'll share the PPT to Karthika, I mean, one who organized this session. They'll forward it to your HOD and he'll forward back. Okay. Data architecture defines the framework that we are going to follow, how to store the data. I could use Windows-based architecture or Linux-based architecture. These are for operating system. We go for data. It could be AWS. It could be Microsoft, or it can be different also. So how am I going to organize my data? So that architecture is called data architecture. Right. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being the patient listeners.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All
Have a
right.
great day.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.